Okay, so I wanted to finish Romans chapter 2. Paul is really sticking it to the people and hoping to open the eyes of the people. It seems like the same as everywhere. People are putting their trust or resting in the law. And Paul continues to deal with this on and on and on and on. He's speaking to people that are very familiar, and they are very familiar with the law, and they have great faith. So he is speaking to two types of people, and he is not telling them to merge them, right? He came to bring a separation of the fruit. I'm really just going to get into this. This chapter is confusing enough to where if I separate it or if I put too many links to the outside of it, it's just going to get even more confusing. So I'm just going to hit it in the head. There is one link that is a pre-qualifier, and that's Deuteronomy 28. And please, by all means, go read it. What you're going to find is the blessings and cursings of the law. If you keep all the law and you keep it perfectly, you get the blessings. If you sin one time, you get the cursings. That's what James tells us. Now, Paul is going to say, if you rest in the law, if that's what you have your trust in. So this is going to deal with verse 12 through 29. So I don't know how long this video will get, but it's going to get pretty long. And this is the first that he's really getting into the law. For as many as have sinned without law shall also perish without law. Those without a law is also going to perish. They didn't make it. And as many have sinned in the law shall be judged by the law. We know if you sinned in the law, you ain't made it. If you sinned outside the law, if you sinned inside the law, you didn't make it. In 13, for not the hearers of the law are just before God, but the doers of the law shall be justified. And that's Deuteronomy 28. That's what he's referring back to. The blessings and the cursings of the law. Only those who could completely keep the law are justified. Christ keeps the law for us. That's the only way we're justified. For when the Gentiles, which have not the law, do by nature the things contained in the law, these having not the law are a law unto themselves. Their sin nature that Adam and Eve took on, that's what Paul is getting at. They claim to be the righteous judges and know what is right. And in 15, which show the work of the law written in their hearts, their conscience also bearing witness, their thoughts, meanwhile, accusing, there it goes, accusing or else excusing one another. This is what law they have written. Jesus came to accuse no one. Whether Gentile or Jew, they both have a fallen nature. And in 16, there's a judgment coming. What's Paul going to say? In the day when God shall judge the secrets of men by Jesus Christ according to my gospel. What has he just said? If they are under the law, they're judged and they're not going to make it. And if they're not under the law, they're judged and not going to make it because both people are of the first Adam and under condemnation. So he's going to go on. Behold, thou art a Jew, and rest in the law, and makest thy boast of God. Okay, so who is he quoting? Jews. So who is he dealing with? Jews. He's going to deal with the Jew first. And knowest the will and approvest the things that are more excellent, being instructions out of the law. Law's good. And art confident that thyself art a guide to the blind, a light of them which are in darkness. So this is the thought of the Jew. They are guides of the blind and a light in the darkness. An instructor of the foolish, a teacher of babes, which hast the form of knowledge and of the truth in the law. So they puff them up. Thou therefore, which teach another, teachest thou not thyself? What is Paul talking about? If you're going to tell someone don't steal, don't kill, don't lie, don't commit adultery, don't uh, do these things, God's law says not to do these things. Do you do those things? That thou preachest a man should not steal, does thou steal? Thou that saith a man should not commit adultery, does thou commit adultery? Do thou abhorrest idols? Idols there is materials, gaining materials, having more than you ought not. Does thou commit sacrilege? Thou that makest thy boast of the law, through breaking the law, dishonor thou God? So no man can keep this law. There's only dishonor in the law. There's only dishonor to God. It's not going to please God. You're not able to keep it. For the name of God is blasphemed among the Gentiles through you, as it is written. For circumcision verifyly profited if you keep the law. So he's talking about the flesh. So to keep to be initialized into the law, they were circumcised in the foreskin. But if thou break the law, thy circumcision is made uncircumcised. Did the flesh grow back? No, but you were still uncircumcised or considered uncircumcised. You were rejected. You didn't qualify. Therefore, if the uncircumcised keep the righteous of the law, shall not his uncircumcision be counted for circumcision? Yeah. The cutting away of the foreskin had nothing to do with it. And shall not uncircumcised, which by nature, if it fulfilleth the law, judge thee? So who was the authoritative? It was the keeper of the law. And Paul's pointing this out. Who is the only person that ever kept the law? Christ. Who by the letter, that's the Ten Commandments, and circumcision does transgress the law. Paul is going to get into Christ, but it's in chapter 3. But he's already making ways to their understanding that the one that can keep the law is the judge. 28. For he is not a Jew, which is one outwardly. Now, what is he meaning? Just because you got your foreskin cut didn't make you a Jew. Neither is that circumcision, which is outward in the flesh. Now, who is a Jew? Who does Paul claim as a Jew? That he is a Jew, which is one inwardly, and circumcision is that of the heart. So the stony heart has been taken out, and a heart of flesh been put in. And he's also going to say in the Spirit. So you have received the baptism of the Holy Spirit. And he's going to make firm, not in the letter. You don't receive this by following the letter. The letter is the Ten Commandments. The letter is the law, whose praise is not of men, but of God. Now, Paul is really making some people mad. I mean, he's went through the first chapter and the second chapter is just being very bold, making very bold statements. And these same bold statements today is why a lot of people won't read Paul's writings. They won't accept the very words that Paul is putting down. So hopefully I can get some more. God bless y'all.